Veterans Day. This is Assemblywoman Cottie Petrie-Norris, and welcome to the 2020 74th Assembly District Veterans of the Year celebration. We owe a profound debt of gratitude to our veterans, to the men and women who have put their lives on the line to protect America and to protect our democracy and to protect our flag. Please join me in saluting our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Today, we are here to honor the men and women of our community who have chosen to serve our nation and to serve with purpose. To begin today's ceremony, I am pleased to introduce our keynote speaker, Brigadier General Robin Umberg. General Umberg began her military career when she enlisted at the age of 18. Her active duty assignments included Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Washington, D.C., the 121st Evacuation Hospital in Seoul, Korea, and the U.S. Army Hospital in Vicenza, Italy. In 1990, she deployed in support of Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm. General Umberg has received numerous military awards, including the Lifetime Achievement Award from the California Department of Veteran Affairs for her service to our veterans. Please join me in welcoming Brigadier General Robin Umberg.
Hi. First of all, I want to thank Assemblywoman Cottie Petrie-Norris for honoring these 6 terrific veterans. I also want to thank her for her continuous support of veterans, to include the much-needed Veterans Cemetery in Orange County. The veterans you are about to meet today have all served with distinction, and they continue to serve their communities. As veterans, we may hang up our uniforms, but we continue the mission of caring for our brothers and sisters, and will do so until our last breath. I also want to thank your families. As a mother, a wife, and a daughter of veterans, I know how huge the sacrifice is for military families. You know, honoring our veterans is important not only because we are so grateful for their brave and selfless service, but it's also a matter of national security. George Washington put it best when he said, "The willingness with which our young are willing to serve in any war shall be directly proportionate to how they perceive veterans of prior wars were respected and treated by our nation." We are a nation that is indeed grateful to all who have served, and I am most honored to be here today acknowledging these special veterans and their families. Enjoy your Veterans Day. Hooah!
Thank you, Robin, for your lifetime of service and for joining us here today. This year, we are honoring one veteran from each of the 6 cities in the 74th Assembly District. They've been nominated by local residents and community partners, both for their service to our country and for their continued service right here in our communities. I am so honored to have this opportunity to recognize their lives and achievements. You'll be meeting them today with the help of our local mayors. To begin, please welcome Mayor KATRINA FOLEY from the city of Costa Mesa.
Thank you so much, Assemblywoman Cottie Petrie-Norris. I'm delighted to be here today to help honor Carol Singleton as Costa Mesa's Veteran of the Year. Carol is an inspiration in our beautiful city of Costa Mesa. She has a distinguished record in the U.S. Army, where she served as a telecommunications operator during the Cold War. Carol also served with distinction stateside. She earned the rank of Specialist 4 when finishing her tour at Camp Parks in Dublin, California. And once she left the Army, she used her GI Bill to build an impressive background in education, earning a BA in English and Education and going on to teach English, journalism, and working as a newspaper editor. Carol has continued her career as an amazing public servant, serving across different agencies. and most recently serving as the supervisor of Heroes Hall, right here in Costa Mesa. I can see it from my office. We are so thankful to her work in honoring our country's veterans, ensuring their stories are preserved for future generations. Thank you so much, Carol, for all your work. It is an honor.
Thank you, Mayor Foley. Specialist Singleton, we are thankful for your service and your continued work in preserving veteran voices in history with Heroes Hall. On behalf of the California State Assembly, it is an honor to be able to present you with this resolution, honoring your service to our country and our community.
Hi, Carol Singleton here. I want to thank Assemblywoman Cottie Petrie-Norris for this great honor, and also thank Rick Stein from Arts OC for nominating me. So I joined the U.S. Army Signal Corps in 1983, and I served for 3 years. I served during the Cold War, so it was peacetime, fortunate for me, and I did serve some of my time in Germany, Darmstadt, Germany, before the Berlin Wall came down. And my military service helped me gain a lot of self-discipline and self-confidence that I have carried with me throughout my life. But probably the greatest benefit or outcome of my military service is it provided me with the opportunity to be in the position I am today as supervisor of Heroes Hall. Heroes Hall is a place where I get to work with veterans every day. And more importantly, I get to hear their stories and share them with the community. I want to make sure that their stories are told and their sacrifices are not forgotten. Some of the most memorable stories that I've heard are from some local POWs. We did an exhibit on prisoners of war. And I told the story of George Emerson, who was in a mid-air collision during World War II and survived and served several months at the end of the war in a POW camp. There's Dan Olwidge and Lloyd Roberts, who were imprisoned for 2.5 years in a POW camp in North Korea, and they almost starved to death. And there's Edison Miller, who was shot down in North Vietnam during the Vietnam War, and he was imprisoned in a POW camp for over 5 years. So those, to me, are the real veterans of the year. And so being able to spend time with these service members and tell their stories means everything to me. So I would like to thank a few other people who have made my work at Heroes Hall possible. First is Michelle Richards, who's the CEO of Orange County Fair, and she's the one who recruited me for the position. Joan Hamill, my supervisor, the exhibits team, who put together these amazing exhibits that tell the stories of veterans. My volunteers, I have some veteran volunteers and civilian volunteers that work with me every day and with the guests that come into our museum. Bob Palazzola, Paul Todd, Joe Seda, and Sherry Danks are my volunteers. And I'd also like to thank Dave Barton, who we work with to put on this amazing event, Voices, the Veteran Storytelling Project. And I'd also like to thank, of course, our Heroes Hall Veterans Foundation. They have helped me tremendously personally, and they have provided so much support for the museum. We couldn't do it without them. So thank you, everyone. Hopefully we can continue this wonderful work to make sure our veteran stories are told and their sacrifices are not forgotten. Have a great Veterans Day.
3. Assemblywoman, thank you so much for the honor of helping to recognize one of our own Huntington Beach resident heroes, David Hayward. Mr. Hayward is a veteran of World War II and absolutely a member of the greatest generation. He flew 53 combat missions as a pilot of a B-52 bomber in the China-Burma-India Theater, earning the Air Medal and Distinguished Flying Cross for his efforts. After returning home, David earned a Bachelor of Science from Caltech and a Master's in Science degree in Petroleum Engineering from USC. But he never stopped working and supporting his squadron. In 1989, they formed an association and started holding annual reunions. David serves as a secretary-treasurer and newsletter publisher, collecting the stories of his fellow veterans for publication. And some of those stories are even featured in his own book, A Young Man in the Wild Blue Yonder. David now lives in Huntington Beach, and we are proud of his efforts to educate our youth about his heroics and those of the greatest generation who fought for our freedoms and for those of others across the world. Mr. Hayward remains active in the Freedom Committee of Orange County, and that committee sends veterans to speak to high school students as part of a living history program and inspires youth to understand the sacrifices and the contributions of our U.S. military veterans. We thank Mr. Hayward for his service and his continued contributions, and we thank you, Assemblywomen, for making this possible to recognize him today.
Hello, my name is David Hayward, and I'm a veteran of World War II, and I have been selected by the 74th Assembly District to be one of your Veterans of the Year. And I'm most humble and grateful for that honor. It's very nice. I'd like to tell you just very little about my own experience. And I grew up in Pasadena, went to school at Pasadena Junior College through the 14th grade, enlisted in the Air Force. I wanted to go through the pilot training program, so I did. I became a pilot of a B-25 medium bomber and was sent with my crew to India. And later on, our squadron moved to China. And our assignment there was to interdict, that is, to attack the enemy supply lines in the Burma area so that our cargo planes could fly over what we call the hump, a branch of the Himalaya mountains, from India to China to deliver supplies to China during their fight with the Imperial Japanese during that time. And then later, our squadron was moved into China, where we did pretty much the same thing along the coast of China and down into what is now Vietnam. We were attacking enemy supply lines so they could not move troops and supplies from their homeland to the battlefield, where our Marines were valiantly fighting them. So that is kind of the story of what I did. I was over there about a year. I flew 53 combat missions. I was given the Distinguished Flying Cross, the Air Medal with Oak Leaf Cluster. And I came back to the U.S. The war was still on. We flight crews were required normally to stay overseas only about 1 year and then be returned for assignment here in the United States. My assignment was a very interesting one. It was in Washington, D.C. at Bowling Field, and it was the headquarters of the United States Air Force.
First Lieutenant Hayward, thank you for your service and for your continued commitment to teaching our young people about our great nation's history. I am proud to be able to present you with this resolution in honor of your service. And I also want to take a moment to recognize Jean. I know she can't be with us here today, but she is with us in spirit.
I'm so pleased to introduce Mohamed Omar Diab today, a graduate from Irvine Public Schools who exemplifies our city's can-do spirit. After graduating high school from University High in 2014, Mohamed decided to enlist in the U.S. Marine Corps. He served as a technician while stationed at Marine Corps Air Station in Miramar. After the completion of his detachment, Mohamed achieved the qualifications of Quality Assurance Safety Observer, Collateral Duty Inspector, and Work Center Supervisor at the rank of Corporal for his proficiency and maturity. He was honorably discharged as a sergeant in 2018 and awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal for his actions. Mohamed has talked a lot about service and says he learned the importance of camaraderie and taking care of his fellow brothers and sisters to ensure mission accomplishment. So, since serving, he's returned to Irvine and started his academic career at Irvine Valley College. He's also worked at the Veteran Services Center, where he's helped other vets identify benefits and has helped them transition out of service. Mohamed graduated cum laude from Irvine Valley College with a 3.7 GPA and is now pursuing a BA at CSU Fullerton. I am so proud we can recognize your service, Mohamed. Thank you for showing true Irvine spirit. Assembly member?
Thank you. Sergeant Diab, thank you for putting so much energy, heart, and spirit into not only your service, but your work with your fellow brothers and sisters in arms. On behalf of the California State Assembly, I am pleased to present you with this resolution to honor your service to our country and our community.
Wow, thank you. I'm honored to receive this award. I have tons of people to thank, but I'll try to make this as short as possible. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Assemblywoman Cottie Petrie-Norris for selecting me as the Veteran of the Year, along with her staff for all the work that they do. I'd also like to thank the staff at Irvine Valley College, the Veteran Service Center, the president, everybody all the way up, for nominating me as the Veteran of the Year, in addition to believing in me and the work that I do and everything that I set out to do. Without their support, I wouldn't be here today. And I would also like to thank my family and friends for always motivating me and encouraging me to always do the right thing, even when no one's looking. And I'd also like to thank my beautiful wife for always showing me the nonstop support along the way. If you were to ask me 5 years ago, where would you see yourself in 5 years? I can tell you that nobody would have said that they were in the middle of a pandemic, especially out here helping the community when the whole world is kind of battling something. But that goes to show you that you never know what's coming ahead of you, and that supporting each other would only make things easier for everyone in difficult times. And that's what I always try to do no matter what. With the difficulties that we face as a community, especially when the COVID-19 pandemic first started, we all face many struggles that challenge our day-to-day operations and life as a whole. Supporting and helping people should not be a chore. Rather, I think it's an opportunity to help humanity as a whole. It's a true joy to work with people who are putting their hearts and minds into improving the lives of people all over the world. I'm excited to get back into the field and connect with students, parents, veterans, and the community as much as possible. And I'm honored to lead the way towards success in our community. Thank you.
It's wonderful to join you today, Assemblywoman. I'm honored to be here to help you recognize Anthony Michael Page, one of our great veterans in Laguna Beach. Anthony has an extraordinary background of service and record of service. After graduating from Cal State University Long Beach, he served 15 years in the Army, where he ran a number of intelligence operations. And he also pursued and received an MS in strategic intelligence during his 15 years of service. After returning to California, Anthony decided to pursue a business degree. He attended the Peter F. Drucker School, where he received his MBA and finished #1 in his class, which is quite an accomplishment. After that, he decided to re-enter the business world, where he developed a company, helped found a company, Vox Analytics. It's a technology company that uses advanced analytics to analyze disease communities so that companies can better serve patient populations. Anthony was actually nominated for this award by a number of his employees, which I think is a testament to the kind of company that he's run and the respect that he has and the inclusive business environment that he has created there. So it's my honor to, along with you, recognize Anthony Michael Page as the Laguna Beach Veteran of the Year in 2020.
Thank you, Mayor WHALEN. Major Page, we thank you for your diligent military service and for your contributions to our community and for your commitment to diversity. On behalf of the California State Assembly, I'm pleased to be able to present you with this resolution and to thank you for your service.
Well, first of all, it's certainly a surprise as well as a great privilege to receive this award. Now, myself, like many veterans, we don't like to talk a lot about our service, and we're generally uncomfortable receiving awards because, for us, it's nothing really exceptional. But I do appreciate the sentiment expressed by Assemblywoman Petrie-Norris. to recognize the contribution of veterans in general. I've been luckier than many to come out of military service with just a few scars and some minor hearing loss. That's certainly a much better situation than many of my peers. I've also been very lucky to get a great education here in California and be able to take advantage of the economic opportunities here. Again, many of my fellow veterans have not been so lucky, particularly those who returned from deployments with traumas and health concerns of one kind or another, and have not gotten the support they need and deserve for putting their lives at the service of our democracy at sometimes great personal costs. So I hope this recognition of veterans reminds everyone that all veterans took a great risk for our country and that we as a society do owe them a debt. And I thank you again for this award and for taking the time to support veterans. Thank you.
Assemblywoman, it is my honor to introduce Lieutenant Colonel Gary Bain. He's a Lieutenant Colonel retired from the U.S. Air Force, served 23 years active and retired duty as an Inspector General for compliance and regulations all over the world. He inspected military bases all over the world. So this is truly an honor. Back to you, Assemblywoman.
On behalf of the California State Assembly, thank you for your service, for your commitment, and for your continued work in our community.
Okay, hi, this is Gary Bain, retired Lieutenant Colonel for 23 years in the Air Force. A little bit about my background. I was assigned as a second lieutenant in San Antonio. I went to OTS, Officers Training School, and then I went to my first duty assignment, which is very close over here, which is Travis Air Force Base in Fairfield, California. And I spent 2 years there as a food service officer. Later on, they sent me over to Taiwan, which I loved over there for 2 years, and I lived in Happiness Village over there, and I was very happy. So I was a food service officer over in Taiwan, and luckily enough, my dining hall that I operated won the Hennessy Trophy Award back in 1968 as the best dining hall in the Air Force. And because of that, I was sent back with the Hennessy Trophy to pick up the Hennessy Trophy over in Chicago at the Restaurant Association meeting, which was a thrill and an honor itself. So I've had a food service background for many years. I was then sent back to the United States in Barksdale Air Force Base when I was assigned as an Inspector General, an IG, and I went around all the U.S. Air Force bases in the country and inspected all the support services activity. I was then sent over to Europe, over to Germany, where I was assigned the Chief of Services for many years, and then went back and forth to England, between England and Germany for 7 years. And I was also assigned as a captain on an Inspector General team, inspecting all the U.S. Air Force bases in Europe. So that was very, very nice. I'm pleased to do that. I would be back in the Air Force today if I had to do that. If they call me back, I would be back in a short while. After Europe, I was sent back to the United States, and I was in charge of the Support Services School in Denver, Colorado. And that was enjoyable as well, teaching all the support services activities and in charge of all the teachers over there. Then I went to, oh gosh, I'm forgetting the many bases that I was at. But I was a major in the school, and then I went back to Texas, and then I got promoted once, and my final promotion was to Lieutenant Colonel. And I did serve 23 years of active duty military service, and very, very proud of it. On this Veterans Day, I'm also very proud that I was honored as Laguna Woods Veteran of the Year. Very, very happy. I'm thinking about food service and veterans, and today I'm thinking about all the, if the veterans listening to this don't know of all the restaurants that are available for Veterans Day for them to go to a free meal, I can name a few of those. BJ's, and also IHOP, and also Denny's restaurant, and quite a few restaurants for all the people for a free meal for any time they spent in the service as a veteran.
Thank you so much, Assemblywoman. Well, I'm Will O'Neill. I'm the mayor here in Newport Beach, and we're in the mayor's office. Behind me is a flag that flew over Iraq in 2009, given to the city of Newport Beach. I'm always happy to introduce one of Newport's own. And Captain Nancy Phillips has had a distinguished career in the Navy, serving 30 years in a wide number of positions. After leaving the Navy, the captain has now spent over 21 years in the public service sector, working to serve and protect veterans as they transition to the civilian life. Captain Phillips' public service has been exemplary, and I am so pleased to have the opportunity to honor her this Veterans Day. In Newport Beach's Year of the Volunteer, I am so thrilled to thank you for your service in so many sectors. You are an inspiration and a role model to so many.
I want to thank Assemblywoman Petrie-Norris for recognizing me for this special occasion on Veterans Day. And I also want to thank her for her help in getting funding for the Homeless Assistance Program here in Orange County. Now, as far as my recognition, I want to recognize the fact that our program is dependent on the community actions, and we could not do it without all the community involvement. It's the Employment Development Department and American Job Centers. And one especially person I'd like to recognize is our local Veterans Employment Rep there in the city of Orange. Well, he's representing Orange, Santa Ana, and the whole Orange County, really, and getting employment for veterans. And in addition to that, I'd like to recognize Antoinette Balta with the Legal Institute that helps provide legal assistance to all the veterans and makes them employable for some of those to assist them in getting employed. And especially with the homeless veterans and some of the issues that they have. Another person I'd like to recognize is Isabel Krasny, who runs the Veteran Employment Committee that interfaces with the veterans and with the employers in Orange County to get them to recognize the benefits of hiring veterans.
Thank you for your commitment in the Navy and for your continued service to your fellow brothers and sisters in arms. On behalf of the California State Assembly, it's an honor to be able to present you with this resolution and to thank you for your service. Thank you to everyone who tuned in to our Veterans of the Year celebration, and thank you to all those who took the time to nominate one of our incredible veterans this year. Congratulations again to all of our honorees. We are eternally grateful for your service and for your sacrifice. God bless you, God bless America, and God bless the great state of California.